how's everybody today? Good afternoon.
Hi.
I'm back. Alright, today we are going to talk about civil rights. We've been talking about kind of broad topics like injustice, which is lack of justice or fair treatment, and equality, which is state of equal treatment. We're going to talk about these two major questions over here and a little bit of a timeline. But what I want you guys to first think about is, okay, this is our agenda. I just kind of went over it. We're going to also talk about racism and segregation. We're going to learn about important people in the civil rights movement. We have some research we're going to do, and then we're going to create a frame of thinking or major questions you should be thinking of, like those two over there, to your right, it's my left, for the whole lesson when we go into our assignment. Okay, so first off, I'm going to pass out your packets for the day. This is everything you need. And I have a quote on the board, which was stated by Mr. Bill Cosby. Does everybody know who Bill Cosby is? Does anyone not know who Bill Cosby is? He is a comedian, for those of you that don't know, and he was on a television show many of you may have seen, The Cosby Show. And he also did ads for Jell-O. But he said, and he is an older African-American man, he stated, by the 1960s, many of us believed that the civil rights movement could eliminate racism in America during our lifetime. But despite significant progress, racism remains. What I want you to do on your Post-its is tell me if you agree with that or disagree with that and possibly why. If you need anything to write with, I have plenty of stuff here. Do you think racism still exists? Do you think prejudice still exists? What might you already know about the civil rights movement? Major changes it influenced? Gotta give you like 2-3 minutes for that. Do you have any questions? You okay?
Yes, I am.
Another half minute or so. Looks like everybody's finishing up. Great. Would someone mind sharing their thoughts? Yes, Matt.
I definitely agree that there still is racism.
Okay.
I mean, we've made progress, but there's still racism because I don't think it really matters. I mean, because a lot of it, I feel like, depends on individual personality.
Okay.
Like, it doesn't matter how much we do to try, kind of like bullying in a way. Like, it doesn't matter how much we try to prevent it. There's always going to be some form of racism or some form of bullying. Like, it's never going to be completely eliminated.
Okay, awesome. That's so cool that you brought up bullying, too, because that's something we're dealing with right now, as with racism.
Yeah.
You know, you said it's kind of still here today. There's definitely arguments for that. There's, you know, some arguments against that. I agree we are not as bad, maybe, as we were. That's a really good thought. Thank you for sharing. Anybody else? Okay, awesome.
I'll make a comment real quick.
Okay.
I think it's one of those, like with racism and even bullying too, I think it's one of those situations where, like, I feel like everyone knows it's always going to be prevalent, but it's just kind of like one of those, it's like a situation where you have to kind of, I'm trying to like, I just want to explain this right, you kind of have to like, keep it at a minimum, you know, like,
right.
You know, you don't have to like, it's going to be either kind of like, I just don't want to like, I've been saying that a lot, but keep it at a minimum, kind of, you know, people just, they don't want to think, they know it's there, but they don't want to think about it.
Okay, so we kind of avoid it. That's what you're saying.
Yeah, I should have said that.
We know it's
avoiding,
there, but we
yes.
kind of avoid it. That always makes me think of a saying I heard once. It's called a community secret. Does anybody have an idea of what that might mean? A community secret
something
is
that,
something everyone knows, but no one talks about. It's like an unspoken code. So we can kind of think about, that's awesome that you brought that up, thank you. We can kind of think of this situation as a community secret, and I want you to keep that in the back of your minds as we go through this, okay? So, what's the point? Why are we talking about the civil rights movement in the 60s, which it did start before the 60s, but we always, at least for me, I always think of, when I think of the civil rights movement, I think of really specific people involved, and I think of a really specific time period in American history, because that's what we're talking about, right? American history. So what's the point? Well, I think civil rights affects everyone. I mean, people were not given the right to vote for a really long time, based on things they didn't really control, such as the color of their skin or their religious beliefs. But I kind of want you guys to keep in the back of your mind what you might think is the point. Why is it important? Does it affect you? Do you think it affects you still? We're going to watch a short video, and